Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie, for those who have for some reason forgotten, and this is Books for Us. So today, since it is almost the end of February, I decided to do a wrap-up video of the books I've read throughout the month. Some of them you will recognize from my Black History Month video I did a few weeks back, because that's kind of what I wanted to focus on this month. So, but some of them aren't. So let's get started with all of them. The first one I did was The Help by Catherine Stockett. One of the old library books from a library I used to volunteer at. They sell their books, so that was good. So that's how I got this one. The Help talks about Black women who are maids to white women in the South, and kind of what they go through. And there's two Black women perspectives and then one white woman perspective. And the white woman is writing a novel about Black maids in the South, in her hometown. So it kind of has to deal with the two Black women, the families they work for, and then the white woman, and how everyone kind of is related in some way, either by friendship, they know each other, or family, and kind of how this book that the white woman is writing works out, and how it kind of changes different people's perspectives on different things and everything like that. The next one I read, I don't have a copy of because I got it from the library, and that is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. One of the classics written back, I believe, in the 70s or 80s. And that one talks about a Black woman growing up. She starts the book off when she's like 10 or 11, ends the book off a few decades later, but kind of her life and how she deals with certain situations, how she deals with being married off to a Black husband, and all of that family business, basically. I will say I did like it. I did enjoy picking that one for our book club at the library. The next one I read was The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. If I mispronounce that last name, like always, make sure I know how to pronounce it in the comments below. But this one is about a teenage girl who lives, I believe, in New York City, and who is a poet, underground poet. Her parents don't know. If they knew, they would flip out. But the whole story is written in poetry form, and it talks about her, starting to date under the radar, because her mother is very religious and is very strict about the stuff, as well as writing her own poems in this notebook that comes into play later. But that's a spoiler, so I won't tell you anything else. I really liked it. It really showed how family dynamics work in certain ways. Again, another main character who is Black. The next one I read was by Walter Dean Myers, called Monster. This one was also not written in the regular way. This was written as diary entries as well as in script form, so like a film, written for a film script, which was really interesting to see how it all worked out, because it was about a teenage Black boy who was committed, who was, what's the word I'm looking for? He was put on trial. Let's put it that way. He was put on trial in helping a murder. So he thinks of, like, in the diary entries he writes, he's telling us that he thinks of the trial as a film and how he would set up all that, because he is really interested in film and that's kind of what he wants to do. But it kind of takes place over a few days, over about a week or so, and kind of what happens in the courtroom. That's kind of where the main story is set, in the courtroom, with like flashbacks to what had happened, or what family drama had been going on, or whatever. So I really liked it. I'm glad I finally read it, because it's been on my list, TBR list, for a while, like at least 3 years. So I'm glad I finally got around to reading it, because it was actually really interesting, really quick read. I believe I finished it within one sitting. The next one I read was The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. Not a common name, again. But I really had high hopes for this book, because I really liked her other book, Arusha, and the first book in the Arusha series, which is a middle grade Indian gods story. So Percy Jackson, but with Indian gods. Anyways, I really liked that one, and I really had high hopes for this. But it kind of fell flat for me. So if you don't know what The Gilded Wolves is about, it's very similar, from what I remember, about to the Six of Crows series, where there's a group of people who need to kind of pull off this heist. Like, what I just told you is kind of what I remember about that story. It's very similar to Six of Crows, but it doesn't live up to the hype. The characters aren't that fleshed out, that I noticed, and it just, the plot, it kind of wavers a bit. Again, other people have different opinions about it, but that's kind of what I found. The next one I have, that I read, again, I don't have a copy of it because it was a library book, is called Super Late Bloomer: My Early Days in Transition by Julia Kay. This is a graphic novel that Julia had started when she first started transitioning. And she had written, this was kind of like she had done these comic strips every day to kind of not reset her mind, but deal with some stuff, of how, like, of passing of as one gender, and of like dealing with people and prejudices and family stuff. She started writing all of these, drawing and writing all of these comics, and so she actually finally put all of these together into this book, and it kind of shows her story over the course of a few months. I don't remember how long it was, but it was really interesting to read it and look at it and kind of see where everything is. The next one I have is another graphic novel, another nonfiction graphic novel, and that is A Quick and Easy Guide to They Them Pronouns by Archie Bongiovanni. Bongiovanni. Okay, got it. And again, this is written by Archie and his friend. Archie is non-binary, and his friend is cis male. And it's, again, a quick and easy guide to they them pronouns. Self-explanatory in the title there. But it kind of goes over like how to use them, how to be respectful of them, and all of that good fun stuff. Now, the next book I have is a nonfiction book, and that is Lonely Planet, New York City. I read this because I do live a decent travel, like I live decently close to New York City, so I can do like a day trip or whatever. So I'm used to Lonely Planet. because when I first traveled like outside the country, that's what I used, and I found it really helpful. So I really like how Lonely Planet is set up because like each section is a different part of the city. So if you are ever interested, feel free to pick up any Lonely Planet books, and they're all kind of set up the same way. The next one I have is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I love this cover, by the way. Look at that cover. Kind of shiny, right? I got this from Barnes and Noble. And unfortunately, they don't have the Huckleberry Finn hardcover like this. Otherwise, I would have gotten it. But it basically just talks about a few adventures of Tom Sawyer when he's preteen, I believe, or kid, and there are some there's some black characters who are kind of side characters that are brought up every once in a while, and not such a nice way. I mean, they're referred to as friends, but then they use language that we don't use today, which again, that's a whole other video of like problematic language. But this was written in the 1800s, and it's also why it gets banned in a lot of libraries and schools, is because of the language that is used in reference to black characters. So it's all about learning, reading this and then realizing that no, this language is not okay to use. However, at that time, people were using it. Was it okay then? No, but at that time, that's what people were using as language. And then the last one that I read that I actually just finished yesterday was The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. It's about two people. One is Korean. The boy is Korean American, and with two Korean parents. He was born in America though, and then the female character was born in Jamaica, but then immigrated here when she was 6 or 8. And this is just like a day in the life of like they meet coincidentally, and they fall in love, and the female, let me get her name real quick, Natasha. Natasha believes in science, so she doesn't believe really in like love at first sight because it's not scientifically proven. Daniel does kind of believe in it. He's kind of a romantic in that way. So it covers the whole day of like them getting to know each other and what happens at the end of the day. So that's all I've read, but so far this month, but it is only the 24th. So I'm also hoping to finish Pride by Ibi Zogboy. Ibi Zogboy. Again, sorry if I mispronounced the name. A remix of Pride and Prejudice. So I'm hoping to finish this as well this month. I probably will, in all honesty. I'll finish that. It's a Pride and Prejudice remix of African American families, characters in Brooklyn. So another New York story. I'm finding that I'm reading a lot of New York stories because A Sun is Also a Star is also set in New York. So yeah, that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys later. Bye.